Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 20th of April. So before we get on and look at the pairs themselves, just quick look at news events for today. So Thursday the 20th here, unemployment claims, US dollar at 130, never really moves the price too much there. More importantly though are these speakers later, and I think there are a bundle of speakers later, a gaggle. If we can scroll down here, there's a whole raft of them. I can't think of any more terms. Anyway, there's a lot of speakers. We've got Fed speakers, Bank of Canada, Bank of England, ECB speakers. They're all over the place. Lock them all up is what I say. We've had enough of the reaction from speakers. We've already had Fed Williams speaking yesterday evening there. He was a little bit more dovish-ish, but we've had ECB not speaking this morning. He's mentioned that rates in Euroland will have to be increased in June and July, most likely. So, but there was always more of a hawkish outlook on the euro from that perspective. However, what we see in the markets, let's get on with things. So lots of speakers today is this afternoon, and that could mean that whatever we see in the morning is quite short-lived. We seem to see this quite regularly at the moment. It's become a regular thing. We get a bit of a movement in the mornings, and then it's fouls in the afternoon. Hi Michael and Ian. So Yoko, sorry. So the euro dollar first. Then I've drawn this line on here, and it goes way back, but it's more importantly, it's not on the 4-hourly here. It's where it's showing elsewhere. 4-hourly wise, we're dancing around the weekly pivot at the moment. It did have that sell-off. Didn't really go too far. It looked like it might have at one stage pushed on southbound, but it recovered in the afternoon. It's doing what we see that 10 o'clock was the sort of the last real push. Okay, it tweeted down at 12, but we're sort of seeing these reversals coming through. Are we going to see the reversal the other way? Looking at what we're seeing here, we've got an old-fashioned head and shoulders sitting there on the hourlies. Wouldn't trust anything. Maybe it'll get up to the R1 today. Maybe it'll push through, but this level that I've actually drawn on, I can't remember. It must have drawn it on this time frame and looked back and thought, oh wow. But it's quite pivotal, and that might be the line in the sand at the moment. The price is dancing around it either side over the last few days, and it's really tapping around it, so it's key. Okay, talking of key price levels, we've got one on the pound as well, and I mean it comes from way out here, and it's where the pound is sort of stitching either side of it. Last week we broke through it. I thought we was going to see something more. Last week, the week before last, it got back above it last week, broke through it and closed below it. It hasn't had a weekly close above this level. Now, are we going to see something different this week? Wouldn't put any bets on it anyway, any movement at all here. The pound at the moment looking, well, slightly more positive here, but look at the mess that we've got on the hourlies here, making it best part of untradeable. My story this morning goes through mostly, I'm just looking through these majors here. I'm not going to go dancing all the way through. There's a couple that look like they're potentially tradable. Well, if we get a setup on them, they're at least moving a bit cleaner. The dollar yen, well, this has been pushing up, but it's a red day today, I think, because we've had the green day yesterday, the red day before the green day. Oh, we had 2 green days in a row. What's going on? But again, it's you're looking at what's going on here, chopping both sides. Possibly the trend is better to the upside at the moment overall. got the upside bias. But again, this morning, what do I want to be doing on this? I don't want to really be selling into the top. We've seen people all of the time selling into tops. The euro yen, the classic, and it keeps on going and biting higher, biting higher. Aussie US dollar. Well, the Aussie looked like it was out and out yesterday, and it turned around. Of course, then from the turnaround it turned around, and now it's turned around again. So not really knowing where it's going. I guess it's like an inverted. It's got an inverted head and shouldery pattern on there. We'll see what happens. But that's all I can say. Now, a pair that is in some sort of trend is the US dollar CAD seems to be moving. Solid old movement yesterday. It sort of broke out of. I've taken it off now, the trend line here, but there was a trend line that was running across. Whoops, let's just go in there and adjust that. So we've got this trend line running across the lows there, but there we go. It was in that sort of price area. It broke to the bottom, and then of course all change. But it is sort of trending. It's coming back off maybe for the daily pivot. Maybe that will give some opportunities with the Canadian dollar strengthening here a little bit on the other markets as well. I was particularly looking at the likes of Euro CAD. It's quite a nice move it's in on the hourly basis here. I mean, on the bigger picture it's fine. It's all in its where it was going, certainly on the 4 hourly there. So we're in a bit of a trendy sort of move kicking through there. It's whether or not we can do something more with it. So Euro CAD, Pound Aussie, and well, they're just not really doing too much. Pound CAD, I think it was the other one I saw. It's again, obviously the Canadian dollar's moving okay at the moment. Could just trade the Canadian dollar. Might see some weakness in one of these other pairings against the Canadian dollar though, as opposed to the US dollar CAD. So in summary, choppy morning. I might find something as the morning goes through a little bit. I'm would be warning you to be careful with them. You might be doing quite nicely at the moment. Short time scalping is probably the place to be, because sort of bigger term day trading and swing trading is not that straightforward at the moment. Quick look at gold. Gold's still messy on the dailies here. It's so well worth coming back up the time frames, even if you're a scalper, just to see what's really happening here. It has been putting lower highs in, well, at least 2 of them there, but is it going to reverse around this morning? It's the question. Oil's coming off, it's filling the gap. It looks like it's filling the gap there, so if it continues, and generally if we get a stronger dollar, it brings the correlation with oil is the opposite way normally, and this might just be coming down to close that gap up. So that's what it looks like. It's erring on that side today, at least right now. Things could all change. Looking at the other equity markets, CSI 300 off for a second day in a row here, still in an overall bullish trend until it starts breaking the trend level, giving me lower highs, but at the moment it's still looking bullish. The Nikkei, it's certainly up this morning, but it dropped down, it gapped down, and it's closed up pretty nicely there. The Nikkei, it's still looking pretty bullish there. Nifty 50 has become a bit of a disappointment. A break back, I mean, the only way I'd get into this now is a break above these highs here. I'd be looking for the price to come up there, unless it gave some reversal signal down here somewhere and started moving, but it's just consolidating away from the top, and that just generally suggests it might drift again. US dollar 500, US dollar 500, the S&Ps as we know them. Again, still in this rangy sort of price action. It drifted up, but it's still sitting in the range. You just see what's happening, slightly higher lows in there. Bias would be slightly to the upside, but Yeah, quite an ugly display really when you come down the time frames. There are periods to trade in this, and this is why I said you're almost better off being a more scalpy trader, maybe a shorter term trader, just looking for a few hours out of it. I mean, this is moved pretty much like the euro here. There's good correlation, but you're seeing this sort of sell off here. And it's then turning. Well, this actually finished its main push there really around about 10 o'clock, and then it rolled back the other way. I say rolled back, moved around the other way. So it's very cyclical on a daily basis, it seems, at the moment. Dow Jones, I've got this time frame I'm looking at there. Dow Jones chopping along sidewards there, and the Nasdaq, no real difference here. The DAX is still drifting, and as I said, this is a drift up. It's a position or a big swing with a big stop, because it's swinging pretty well intraday as well, like the rest of the markets, but it has got a good directional drift in here on the dailies there. FTSE, similar-ish, although it seems to have been, we've had 3 days around this very compact and tight little area, but it's hanging in there, and it's hanging around the tops there. Could get another push to the upside. So there we go. The same sort of thing is going through both markets, the Forex market, even commodities market to a degree, and we're seeing it certainly in the indices. So chop. There are some more trendy type currencies running through there. As I say, the Canadian dollar in the intermediate time frame is trending at the moment. So you need to pick your fight carefully, or not be fighting at all. If you're short-term trading, yes, there are a couple of hours that seem to come together quite well, but once those couple of hours are over, it may be time to take the profit. Unfortunately, bit scalpy these days. Right, on that note, cheerful as ever. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now. Bring back the trends.